High school football has ended in the Jackson area, but boy did we get our money's worth once again, Josh. We start things middle of August with Media Day. Every team's ready. Every team has a goal of a conference championship, maybe making the playoffs. Some teams even winning a state championship. And here we are at the end of the year, and one of our local teams won that state championship.
I mean, it's always sad when it's over, and it went way too fast, but I'll tell you what, when you can end at Ford Field and when you can end holding the championship trophy, that's the way to go. And Lumen Christi again delivers the state championship, and we get to celebrate it with them.
Yeah, an amazing season, of course, an amazing game, amazing playoff run. We're going to take a look at all of that, highlighting Lumen Christi Titans on their state championship season. We'll get things started right after this break.
When it's cold, the last thing you want is your home's heater to quit on you. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our team of comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. From simple repairs to more complex fixes, we'll get you warm and comfortable quickly. Just call 855-1HOUR or visit onehourair.com. Don't forget, we're
always on time or you don't pay time. Always on time or you don't pay time.
independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Your new ride is waiting for you at Avenue Auto. We've been giving Jackson great deals on pre-owned vehicles for 27 years. With 80 or more vehicles on the lot, each with a free warranty, we're your family-owned and operated choice in Jackson.
Welcome back to the show as we take a look at the 2022 state champion Lumen Christi Titans football team. I want to thank Aspen 1 Hour, Avenue Auto, a couple of our sponsors today. And the regular season, let's talk about that first, Josh. It was a rough start, not a typical start. 0-3 for the Titans, but they righted the ship, obviously. But talk about that start and kind of what the buzz was around the community.
0-3 for the first time in a really long time. Might have been the first time ever. I can't remember if it was 70s or his early 70s or it was the first time ever. But I'll tell you what, and that's all down to scheduling. And that's a credit to the program and how they work and how they schedule and prepare for a season. You start the year against New Lothrop, a loss on the road to a tough New Lothrop team who lost in the semifinals in Division 7. You lose to St. Francis. We all know how good that team is. You see them again at Ford Field, and then the loss to Hastings, where Hastings, goes on to win the I-8 championship. So really a tough start. But then you look at that game where we were all sitting here after 0-3. We knew this was a good football team. We had seen them on JTV. We've seen them in person. We knew they were talented. I thought that game, the next game, Week 4 against Western, is when this team really got it going. Close first half game.
Right. And
that second half, you started to see this team really start to grow, and they became a very different football team starting Week 4 during that halftime.
Yeah, I was going to say, was there a turning point? That's obviously one. What did you like about the way they finished off? You know, your opening league game is a loss, tough loss, a team you don't typically lose to. What do you like about the way they finished up that I-8 season, especially knowing they're on their way out of that conference and we're going to get every team's best shot?
I like the way they dominated.
Yeah.
Right. I would say it was dominating defensive performance, except for that last game in the I-8, that Harbor Creek game, where we saw them get exposed a few times, which I think is a good thing because their defense really wasn't challenged in a way, except for those first 4 ball games. And then you start to get the easier part of the I-8 schedule. And I think playing Harbor Creek, that had that passing attack and exposed their defense a little bit, I think propelled them into a great postseason run because it gave them the coaches a thing to go back and coach on and make sure that this defense was prepared. Mm-hmm. And we saw in the playoffs a defense that was extremely prepared and very ready to go out and execute.
Yeah, and back to those early season losses. The New Lothrop game, I believe, was in just horrible weather. Mm-hmm. Again, a one-score game. The Traverse City St. Francis, again, a one-score game. So it wasn't your typical 3 losses in that regard. But we've got a lot of highlights. Let's take a look at the regular season highlights from this year's Lumen Christi Titans.
The eyes on him. 3rd and 4 from the 29. Handoff up the middle. He's going to get the first down. Pushes off to the left. Breaks off the tackle. Gets some room. Nice move down inside the 5. And that'll be 1st and goal for the Gladiators.
That's Garrett Hathaway, number 33. Why? He's not on our roster.
Here's a handoff to the left and in the end zone. The Gladiators on the board first. That's Garrett Hathaway, who had the big run earlier.
This drive is approaching 5 minutes already. Penetration
On
into the backfield.
4-1. Walker gets the first down, breaks a move to the left. Walker got 2 men to beat, pushed out of bounds, and that's a Minuteman first down to the 15. Derek Walker with a big play for the Titans. So 3rd and goal, Lathers, handoff.
He's in
They'll
there.
get over, that's a touchdown.
Give
Lumen
him a-
Christi, Devian Franklin in the first quarter. Lathers fakes the pass, rolls
He's
right.
open!
Quarterback
He's going
keeper
to the house,
in the end
Dennis!
zone. Joe Lathers, touchdown, Lumen Christi.
How
on
about
the
this?
keeper.
The Titans.
How about it?
High fives all over in the home crowd.
They forced the fumble on 4th down, and Lathers, keeper to the right, gives Lumen Christi the lead to end the first quarter. Sanders draws up here, and Coach Sellers, quarterback rolling right, throws, and it's caught. And he's going to make a move, puts the ball over, and that's good. In the end zone, the Gladiators could even things up with the extra points. Joe Lathers on 2nd down, quarterback keeper gets over them, got some room.
Look at the
Breaks
touchdown.
off of him.
He
Look at
broke
that.
it.
Joe Lathers breaks off a man in the end zone.
Look at
78 yards.
that
Joe
touchdown.
Lathers on the quarterback keeper. Lathers takes it to the house.
Are you kidding me? Last possession, last drive for Lumen Christi. There, Joe Lathers. We're an extra point away from a tie game, and David, it looked bad for the Titans. That first 2 minutes, again, not what they wanted. They went 3 and out. They gave Traverse City St. Francis a short field, and somehow they were able to stop them. No points. Lathers.
Nausedas takes the snap. Handoff, breaks
Touchdown.
left. That's a touchdown. Traverse City St. Francis. Joey Donahue gives them the lead with 10:46 to play. Nice, and now here we go. 4th and 14. Crowley under center and scrambling, and he gets sacked from behind, and that's going to do it.
Coverage sack.
A coverage sack, and Traverse City St. Francis, they're going to ride the bus back home 2-0. First and goal from the 8. Carroll hands off up the middle, breaks right in the end zone to Nessen in the end zone for Hastings. So here we go. Walker on the pitch, 1st and goal, gets in the end zone. Touchdown, Lumen Christi. Williams in motion, Lathers hands off to Walker. Walker gets some room, breaks off a tackle. Derek Walker in the end zone. A 40-yard run, touchdown, Lumen Christi. Derek Walker gives them the lead.
All right, Lumen with the football. Here's the man in motion, and they're going to give it to the first man through the middle, and he's got a hole.
Oh, boy.
Pushing through the middle, and it's touchdown. Lumen Christi.
Look who's with him. 99.
Yep, cleared that hole,
Yep.
and Western got beat bad in the inside this whole series, and they did it again. And they're going to fake it. He's going to roll out, looking for somebody downfield. Nothing there. He's going to come the other side. He's got a lot of space.
Sure does.
And he's got some wheels. Getting downfield, he gets met hard at the 40-yard line, but first down. Ball is snapped. They're going to pitch to
Who's
the
going to
outside.
throw it, Jim?
He's got a man.
Are you kidding
wide
me? Are you
open,
kidding?
Wide open, no coverage downfield. No way he's going to catch him. Lumen Christi goes up 2 scores with 6:06 left to go. This is going to be a tough situation for this homecoming team here at Western to come back and win. But Lumen Christi taking full advantage of the playbook there, and burns that Western defense.
I got 2 words. Herb Brogan. You know it. What a play. Not a
Shotgun, they're going to give it to the first man through. He's got a hole. He's going to run around the outside. Breaks one tackle, gets to the outside.
Oh boy.
It looked like
Look
he
at
might have.
this.
He didn't step out of bounds.
Nope.
No signal, and that's touchdown, Western High School.
Just like that, Jim.
Back into this football game, Alex Trudell with the carry. And now that extra point missed by Lumen Christi comes into play. Western's got to get theirs here. Man in motion to give it to the first man through. He gets a big push.
Sure does. He's still going.
Well,
and
there's-
he's...
Uh-oh. Look out. He turns on the speed. I don't think anybody's going to catch him. Oh, nice job. Coming from the backside, number 6, Mitchell Williams.
What do we know?
Yep. And quarterback
Keeper.
keeper. He's going to walk into the end zone for another Lumen Christi score. That's going to take him 19-7 right for the drive home. And there's the last deal. And that's going to be the football game, folks. So Lumen Christi comes in and spoils the homecoming game for Western High School. They take the game 19-14.
And he does. Morrow drops back to pass. Pressure coming already.
There he
He's
goes.
going to have to keep it himself. Morrow turning on the wheels. Going to get to the 30, 35. 2nd and 5. Walker, a pitch to the left. Derek Walker's got some room. He's going to break free. He beats both men. Touchdown, Derek Walker. A 36-yard run, and Lumen Christi adds another one to the board. Franklin and Walker behind him. Lathers fakes the handoff, rolls, throws, caught by Debbie Franklin. Franklin's got some room, cuts to the left, and looks like the knee was down just at about the 1. That's another Minuteman first down for Lumen Christi.
Have led to 2 big Minuteman first downs for Harper Creek. Matthews tries to stretch the play, dives, and Matthews is in for our first score of the game from 6 yards out at the 9-minute mark here in the first quarter.
Excellent drive there by Harper Creek to score on their opening drive. That's capped off by Keyshawn Matthews' 6-yard touchdown run to get Harper Creek on the board first here. 6-0 with 9 minutes.
Little dink on the inside to Smith. Look at that, rumbling, stumbling into the end zone for our first Lumen Christi score tonight. Connor Smith just doing it the hard way.
Connor Smith caps off that Lumen Christi drive with a 34-yard touchdown run. Rumbling, bumbling. There's a reason why we picked him as our Mauer Sunshine Car Wash impact player of the game. Connor Smith shows us his athleticism and his power to fight.
It's going to be Lathers to keep it himself. Hits the edge. The 30, 20, cuts back, down to the 10, inside, stays on his feet. You gotta be kidding me. 1 play, 53 yards, Lathers. Wow.
53-yard touchdown run there by Joe Lathers. That is his 9th touchdown of the season. Does an excellent job there getting that. That puts him near 500 yards rushing on the season. Excellent run.
Lathers will roll and just overshoots Franklin. And it is good. Oh my gosh. Overshoots Franklin. And go up the center. It's Franklin. Franklin off to the races. No one will catch that young man. The 10, the 5, touchdown. Lumen Christi, 1 play, 80 yards. Davion Franklin. We know how close those games were with the top talent in the state, and now they are cruising and rolling into the playoffs with this 49-23 win over the Battle Creek, Harper Creek Beavers.
The playoff run was an interesting one for the Lumen Christi Titans the last few years as they've slipped in divisions due to enrollment. It's brought in some local matchups, and they're not always close games. And that's what we got in the first 2. we had Homer and Hudson. The Homer game, we kind of expected Lumen Christi to blow them out, which they did. Hudson, that was a turning point for me in the season. I expected a totally different ball game.
No, we saw Hudson earlier in the year. We know how good that team was. The state championship just a year ago. And the way that defense dominated that football game, to shut out Hudson was very impressive. And it was just, that was the light moment for me where I was like, this team is different. And we saw it coming into the end of the year. We knew this team was getting better every single week. But to know that the defense could go out and perform like that, and you could put up 40 points against a Hudson team or 35 points against a Hudson team, that's an just impressive day. And it was an outcome that none of us saw coming. So it was really kind of that moment where you're like, man, this team's really good.
Yeah, definitely a dominating performance and shock, I think, on Hudson's sideline. Now the next week, Lawton comes to town. Interesting game. I think I know I picked Lumen Christi to blow Lawton out, especially after last year's loss to them. This is a game that Lawton probably could have won. Maybe if you're a Lawton fan, you'll say for the rest of your lives, we should have won that game. But it comes down to close plays, big plays, defense, and I really think this is the time in the season when I thought Lumen's defense, they're legit.
And you don't put the ball in the end zone. If you're Lawton and you're saying, like, you're supposed to win that game, well, you should have got across the goal line, and they just never did. And that was because of very tough Lumen Christi defense, which we've talked about throughout the show here already. But 7-6 win, huge win for Lumen Christi, and that was one of those. I was more impressed with the Hudson win. I thought they would beat Lawton a little bit in a different way, but just Lawton's defense really was tough that day. But Lumen Christi's defense, like it was so many times this year, was just the absolute difference in that game to walk away with a 7-6 win leading into that big Napoleon game in the semifinals.
Yeah, and a game that, as you mentioned, a Napoleon Lumen Christi semifinal. I don't think you could have ever, in my life, predicted that we would see that matchup in a semifinal. Obviously, we're probably 7 miles. The schools are 7 miles apart. So here they are. They meet in the semifinal game, and I think if you're Lumen Christi, you didn't know what to expect out of Napoleon. This must be a legit Napoleon team. Made it to the semifinals. They were legit. They had a great year. Probably, well, it was the best year ever for Napoleon. And tough weather conditions. Lumen Christi came in, and they didn't play their best game, but they kind of wore down Napoleon as the game went on.
But surprise, surprise, here we go. We're going to talk about defense again. That's exactly what it was. It was the difference in Napoleon not being able to move the ball with any type of consistency against this Lumen Christi defense. I thought Napoleon's defense did quite well against Lumen Christi's offense, held them to 20 points, excuse me. Really good performance by Napoleon in that aspect, but offensively they just couldn't get anything going. Tough weather conditions, absolutely, but that defense for Lumen Christi travels, and we saw it was able to perform indoors, outdoors, in tough weather and great weather. It didn't really matter. They had a great defense.
They definitely did. Well, let's take a look at those highlights from the postseason. Here are your postseason Lumen Christi highlights.
Brighten up your holiday season with one of Michigan's largest animated Christmas light displays. This drive-through spectacle has millions of lights, is 5 miles long, and has scenes with Santa, the 12 Days of Christmas, and Noah's Ark. Or you can experience all these twinkling lights aboard our Night Lights Express. Train tickets only available online at nightlightshow.com. Fun for the whole family. Opening Thanksgiving Day through December 31st at Michigan International Speedway.
You never think about a good tow truck service until you really need one. Jimmy's Towing and Auto Repair in Jackson will be there for you in a flash. Our technologically advanced GPS software enables us to pinpoint your location and dispatch the closest truck to assist you in no time. Jimmy's has the largest towing and rescue truck fleet in the area, and we have the right equipment for any towing need. When you need help in a flash, call Jimmy's. Jimmy's Towing and Repair in Jackson.
Welcome back, and now it's time to talk about Ford Field, which is the dream of any high school football player when you strap on those pads. Wouldn't it be a miracle, amazing if we could get an opportunity to play in Ford Field? Well, Lumen Christi got that opportunity once again, made the most of it, but it wasn't an easy game. I don't think it was a game that went the way anyone expected, including both teams.
I had that same dream that you talked about, and I still get that same feeling every time I get to walk down the tunnel and walk onto the field as a broadcaster. I know it's not as exciting as playing, but it's something that I enjoy every single time because I can just picture what these young men are feeling as they're walking out onto the field. I think it's just incredible. But you're right. We've talked about defense this entire show. We talked about Lumen Christi's defense. What we saw in the first half was an incredible Traverse City St. Francis defense. They were tough. They were physical. And in that first half, they really wore down Lumen Christi. Only 64 yards of offense in the first half for Lumen Christi. That defense was good. 31 and 33 for Traverse City St. Francis were grown men. And they were really good players that I thought was really impressive. And for TC St. Francis to get 2 scores early on I wasn't sure that Lumen would be able to overcome that. But at the end of the day, we talked about it at halftime. If you turn the ball over 3 times like Lumen Christi did in the first half and you're only down 12 points, you're in that ball game. And you got to feel really good. You're upset about the performance, but you got to feel really good about how your defense kept you in that game. What's
the vibe like on the sideline? Obviously, things aren't going the way you want them to if you're a Lumen Christi fan. You haven't got on the scoreboard yet. There's turnovers. Maybe we're running some plays that we didn't think we would run as soon as we are. What's the vibe like down there as things are nearing halftime?
There was frustration. You saw a lot of frustration because I think Lumen Christi was being leaned on in a way that they're not usually. They are typically the more physical football team. In that first half, they just weren't. Some of that was self-inflicted. They made their own mistakes, but you saw a really tough team, and they weren't performing the way that they expected to. And so you were seeing some frustration on the sidelines, but the way the coaches came out in the halftime and where they were deliver some sort of speech or create changes in the scheme that made that team come out, we saw a different football team in the second half.
Yeah, halftime, if you would have asked me, can Traverse City come out and be held scoreless and Lumen Christi score more points than them to win? Wow, wouldn't that be an adjustment situation on both sides? And we saw that happen. But even after 3, it was 12-0. So you wondered, is it too little, too late? What turned the game in your eyes from the sideline?
Well, defense changed immediately in the second half. So even though it was still 12-0, in the third quarter, I think they only had 1 possession. That was Traverse City St. Francis because they only ran 12 plays the entire second half.
Yeah.
12 plays.
It's amazing.
1 first down, and right after that first down, we saw an interception that really changed the real tide of the game where Lumen Christi was able to run the ball out. But I just thought offensively they were able to run the football. Most of that, I believe, is because they were able to wear down that defensive front 7 for Traverse City St. Francis. The offensive line started to get a push. We talked about only 64 yards of offense in the first half. In the fourth quarter alone, Lumen rushed for 112 yards. Joe Lathers had 89 of those yards. It was just a really good offensive performance, specifically running the football. You started to see them be able to do it a little bit more in the run and the pass, but running the football, they controlled the line of scrimmage, they were able to move the chains, and we saw a great offensive performance to get those 2 scores.
Joe Lathers, obviously a name that Titan fans won't soon forget for some of his crazy performances he had, including in the state championship game, of course. Tell me a little bit about the crowd and the comeback and the way that the crowd rallied. I talked to some people who were at the game, and they had never heard excitement like that. It was almost like unbelievable excitement.
Well, just because exactly what you just asked. It was 3 quarters it was 12-0.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they were the more dominating football team. And even if you were getting stops on defense like they were, could you actually score the football and move the football and get into the end zone? And that first score when Joe Lathers went into the end zone, it was incredible volume because it was like we finally got into the end zone. There's a chance. And then when you see it, the next drive right after that, and you get the second one and you take the lead, Ford Field, I don't know that it was louder the entire weekend. It might have been one of the smaller crowds that you saw the entire weekend, but it was so loud because there was so much excitement about that score with Derek Walker when he got into the end zone. But it's just really impressive performance on both sides of the ball.
Let's take a look at those highlights from Ford Field. Here they are, the Division 7 state championship highlights. Those are a lot of fun to watch if you're a Titan fan for sure. What were some key plays that really stood out for you in the game?
I mean, you saw him. That Alex Pastoriza interception was a huge play, and that kind of just stopped all momentum. And that was the last offensive play that Traverse City St. Francis ran, because Lumen Christi was able to take the next 7 minutes and just run the clock out, which I thought was really impressive in a game where they struggled to move the ball. Second half, they did a great job. But then that huge 4th and 1 pickup by Derek Walker to keep the chains moving and eventually to lead to that final score, I thought was just a really big play. So you take those two plays and how on both sides of the ball they really helped shape this game.
And celebration ensued, and it was crazy down there on the sideline. Take me through what you watched as the final seconds tick off the clock.
Joy, right? You saw joy. You saw a team that I think most of the time when Lumen Christi gets to Ford Field, they believe they're the better team and they expect to win. They go out, they execute, and they do win. And I think what happened in the first half, I believe, put some doubt into some people's minds, whether it be it on the field, be it in the stands, but they overcame that. And to see at the end of the game, when you have more points on the scoreboard, I think that's just really impressive and a great feeling that those players got to see, like, a little deep breath, like, whoo, we did it, and then celebration ensued.
Yeah, very cool. You had a chance to talk to a lot of the Titans coaching staff and players after the game. Let's take a look at some of those interviews.
Here with Alex Pastoriza from Lumen Christi, state champions. Alex, what a second half by your guys' defense. Can you talk about the adjustments the team made at halftime?
I mean, it wasn't so much adjustments. We just really need to go out there and start playing with our hats on fire and just play. We knew we faced adversity early in the season, and we knew how to adjust with it and deal with it. So.
You had a fantastic interception to really turn the tide in that second half. Can you talk about what you were seeing as that ball was flying through the air?
Well, they ran that flood pass at us over and over, and I knew they were looking for a big play, and there was that short route and the flag and just take away the deep, and the quarterback threw it. So the ball came my way, and I picked it. So,
Alex, when you guys started the year 0-3, did you feel like you guys could be here standing here today winning a state championship?
Yeah, I think we all knew that we had the potential to play for a state championship and be state champions, but we had a lot of people doubting us, and the people in the locker room and the coaches and stuff. We all knew that if we cleaned up our mental mistakes and really just stuck to it, we'd be here. So.
Can you tell me what it feels like to be a state champion?
It feels great. I don't know if there's anything like this I've ever felt. It's like all the hard work and everything just paid off.
Here with Derek Walker, state champion, Division 7. Derek, tell me about this game. Incredible second half for you guys. I know you really struggled first half, couldn't get things going, but you came out on fire in the second half. Talk about the adjustments you guys made at halftime.
Coach told us it wasn't physically that we were getting pushed over, it was just mentally. We weren't all locked in, we weren't all clicking on all cylinders, and we told each other that we weren't out this game, and we kept moving forward, and down by down, play by play, came back and got the win.
At the end of the game, you had a huge 4th and 1 pickup. Offensive line got a great push, and you got over the line to get that first down, keep the clock going for the Titans. Can you talk about that play and how important it was?
Like you said, it was a great push by the line, and I mean, I didn't have to do much. I just had to run forward, and it was a great push by my line like they've been doing all year long. And they're the heart and soul of this team, and they're the reason why we're at this point.
You had the go-ahead score, a 2-yard touchdown run. Talk about that play and what that meant for the game.
It meant a lot for the momentum swing, honestly. We know that they haven't been in too many late game situations, and they haven't felt much pressure all year because they've just blown everybody out. And we've been facing adversity, and sometimes that helps you. It can be a positive thing, and I think that's what helped us in the end of the game.
Derek, tell me what it feels like to be a state champion.
Unbelievable, man. It feels great. I haven't been able to set it in yet and sit down and just take it all in, but it feels great.
Here with Joe Lathers, starting quarterback, state champions. Joe, really a game of 2 halves. Can you talk about the adjustments this team made at halftime?
I mean, the adjustments that we made, our whole line just went crazy. I mean, they just balled out. They all blew everybody off the ball. Our running back, Derek over there, made an amazing attempt at running every single time. I ran the ball a few times, got some yards. I mean, we knew we were we knew we were made for this. This is what we were made for. We were made to come back and face adversity every single time.
Yeah, that first half, really tough to move the ball. You guys really struggled. But that second half, you guys were able to move the ball on the ground especially. You did a great job. That offensive line, like you talked about, and you had a big touchdown to get the Titans on the board first. Can you talk about that touchdown, how important it was to get your momentum going?
Oh, yeah, it was amazing. I mean, the blockers up front, every single one, I had a wide open lane, just run right up the middle. Run right up the middle, scored. Everybody on the sidelines going crazy. Our whole student section, our whole fans are going crazy. That's what kept us going. I think that's what got the momentum, everything going.
Joe, 2 interceptions, uncharacteristic for you. Talk about how you didn't let your head fall. You stayed right in the game, and you continue to lead this team. Talk about your mental capacity to be able to do that.
Oh, yeah. Our coaches, I mean, they've been telling me this all year long. Shake it off. One bad play happens, there's a whole other game. Whole rest of the game. I mean, shake it off, doesn't matter. One bad play, get rid of it, keep going.
Tell me what it feels like to be a state champion.
It's unbelievable. Not many teams get to do this. I mean, 8 people win the state championship, and we're one of them. So it's unbelievable.
Here with Connor Smith, two-way starter for Lumen Christi. Connor, really a tale of two halves. You guys defensively, incredible performance that second half. Can you talk about the adjustments the team made?
I mean, we made a little bit of adjustments, but I mean, we just started to lock on the little things. I thought the coaches had everything pretty good in their pregame. Adjustments for this game, and we just we were making a ton of mistakes in the first half. We continued to make mistakes in the second half, but when you're playing a good team like that, there's gonna be a lot of mistakes. I feel like, especially big games like this, but we started doing the little things right and kept working.
What did you learn in that first game back in week 2 against Traverse City St. Francis that you guys were able to put into place here today?
They were one hell of a team, one hell of an offense. But you got to tire them out. A bunch of two-way players, kind of similar like us. But coach, our off-season training's really legit here at Lumen Christi. I'll tell you what. And we were prepared. And I don't think Traverse City played a lot of full games this year, and especially in the playoffs. They're smoking teams, and they weren't. I don't think they were used to that heat as well. So they got tired out pretty quickly, I thought.
How were you able to get a push, an offensive line, and you at your tight end spot against this really big front seven for Traverse City St. Francis?
How were we?
Yeah.
Just doing what our coaches tell us to do at the end of the day, off-season training. It all starts there with the brotherhood. And, this team, out of my 4 years, I'll tell you what, this is not the most talented team. I mean, it's a talented team, don't get me wrong, but the reason we won this game is because how much we love each other, how much we love playing with each other, and how much we love the game of football. Those things right there.
And you had a big 2-point conversion to make this a 3-point game. What did you see with that ball on the ground, jumping on that in the end zone?
Well, I didn't know for sure it was a fumble, but, when you're running the ball, good things happen, and, that's what happened, and
Connor, tell me what it feels like to be a state champion.
Feels great. I was the only person in my family not a state champion before today. My brother played in 4, won 3. My sister played in 2, won 1. My mom thinks she won 2, but it feels great. But I'm just so proud of my team, and I'm proud of guys like Joe Lathers, Derek Walker, all these captains, all these leaders, all the offensive line. I didn't see too many offensive line for the interview, but I mean, they're the ones that really should be getting talked about. We got a lot of, Aiden Pastoriza, Luke Smith, Charlie Conkle, Cooper Cumberworth. They just work their tails off, and I'm so proud of them.
Connor Smith carrying on the Smith family tradition as a state champion at Lumen Christi. Here with Coach Herb Brogan, 12th program state championship, and Coach, 10 for you. Incredible accomplishment. I know you're going to point it right back at the kids, but can you tell me what it feels like to win 10 state champions?
Well, I mean, there's no better feeling in coaching than to do this and do it the way we did today, But it's what makes it great, especially about football, is a shared feeling. There's so many people responsible for it. I mean, the kids, number one, the way they played in the second half, our coaching staff and the adjustments they made in both on offense and defense at halftime. Those guys do 99% of the coaching, and then I get to be the guy that comes up here and talks. But I'm just so proud of the kids and so proud of the coaches.
You talked about 2 different halves. Let's look at offensive side of the ball. That first half was really difficult for you guys to move the ball. What did you do in the second half to be able to start to get some momentum and start to be able to move the football against that really tough front seven?
Well, I think basically physically, I think we started to wear them down a little bit. But they do such a great job of crabbing and picking off your backside, pulling people, so we had to get away from our counter game that's usually so good to us because we couldn't get people in through the hole and up on the linebackers. But, we were able to take advantage of them in the flats a little bit and, just hung in there and played and played and played.
Turnovers, penalties, a number of mistakes. How did your coaches kind of coach this team through kind of overcoming those mistakes and not letting that get the team down?
Well, at halftime, we just told them, we said, to be down 3 turnovers and only be down 12 points this team's a miracle. And the fact that we had a chance to make 2 or 3 big plays that we didn't make, it could have easily been a 14-12 ball game at that point. So we knew that the game wasn't over yet, and we just told them to just keep playing hard, and good things are going to happen.
On the defensive side of the ball, you guys were good the entire game, but you were fantastic in the second half. This team came in averaging 47 points a ball game. You held them to 12, all of that in the first half, and only one first down in the second half. Can you talk about the changes that you guys made and how this team performed in the second half?
Well, we just we tackled. Secondary did a good job, I think, of being in the right spot at the right times. But I just think if I point to one thing overall, the whole ball game long, was just effort. We preached that all week long, and I think that's what we got.
Coach, take me back to week 3. You start the year 0-3. Did you believe that you'd be standing here today as a state champion?
Well, it's so hard to get here, but did I think that we still had a chance to get here? Absolutely. We played 3 really good football teams, really tough, and, the kids listened, they believed in themselves, they kept getting better.
Herb Brogan, head coach of the Lumen Christi Titans, their 12th program state championship and his 10th overall. Coach, congratulations.
Bailey Excavating is proud to introduce our paving division. Locally done, on time, and on budget, we offer paving for municipal, industrial, commercial, and large residential customers. We can meet all your asphalt and paving needs from start to finish. For nearly 50 years and 3 generations, Bailey Excavating has been dedicated to providing the highest standards of quality and service to our customers. And in our paving division, we are dedicated to those same standards. To learn more about Bailey's Paving or to request a quote, please call 517-750-3030.
It all started when one customer came in and talked to one banker. From that moment on, County National Bank has been known for helping our customers and our community. Thousands of people have received mortgages that put them in new homes. Millions of dollars have been invested in our communities. Billions are managed for our customers' futures. But it always comes back to one relationship with one customer. Ensure the focus is on you. Bank on one with County National Bank.
Welcome back. And of course, it's another state championship for Lumen Christi, one that was maybe a surprise throughout the beginning of the season. You weren't sure in the middle of the year. And then, of course, the dramatic comeback win, the first game, 10 a.m. at Ford Field on that Saturday to win a state championship. Josh, the state championships, there's so many of them, you'd think it would be old hat for Lumen Christi, but new group of players, new coaches, new parents, new relatives, and it's a great time to be a high school athlete over there.
No, I think it's great. None of them are the same. I think it's always great to see how unique some of them can be. You even heard in the interviews Connor Smith talking about how he felt like he was going to be the last Smith brother that didn't win a state championship, and how he's able to fulfill that legacy, which I thought was great. But 12 state championships, and then you got to look at what Coach Herb Brogan's done. 395 career wins, 10 state championships, now alone for number 2 all time in the state, which I just think is an incredible performance and a legacy and history for Coach Brogan and the Lumen Christi Titan program. So that one felt special, felt really unique, because especially there's not been many times when I've been on the field at Ford Field and Lumen Christi's playing that I didn't think they were going to win the game. And honestly, there was times in that game where I'm like, we're not the better team, but they proved to be the better team and just did a great job getting that championship.
Yeah, thanks for a great season. It was fun to follow, and thanks to our staff, thanks to you, Josh, thanks to all of our commentators throughout the year, thanks to our sports director, Noah Baker, Jeff Steers, Adam Bragenzer, and of course, many more. And then we should also thank the community, the coaches and the teams, always so kind and welcoming to us, and it really makes it a joy to cover high school sports.
It certainly does. I mean, they do such a good job of welcoming us into their schools, giving us information, and I can't appreciate how much, for me personally, they give me so much information so we can cover these kids and these teams and these programs in a better way, and we have great support in the communities to do that.
We're looking forward to another great year next year as these teams try to get back to Ford Field.